in our community, and I'm looking at their approach, and everyone's looking at their approach because, it's been so much going on around in the country. You have to be leery of a lot of different things, but their approach has been so well, and the approach has been so well, often you don't get a chance to commend them guys because when you cut on the TV, you see something different. But in our community, in the Pullman community, in the Rosen community, it's been well. But it's been well for me for these 2 or 3 years I've been back home.
And you know what? That's awesome. Simply because, like I said, man, I'm one of those people that, hey man, I don't trust the police. I don't want to talk to the police. I don't want nothing to do with the police. When I see them coming, they going left, I'm going right. So you know what? I am definitely going to make a mental change in my mentality in regards to how I deal with the police. Because, like, for example, last year on social media, I issued a challenge to speak to 6 people you didn't know. Just if you walk past 6 different people, speak to all 6 of those people. And do you think that's something that'll be useful in your interactions and in your situation? Simply because when you get familiar with somebody, my theory behind that was it's kind of hard to start a fight, rob, or accost someone that you've spoken to every day or someone that spoke to you for no reason at all. What are your thoughts on that in regards to community uplifting and networking and things of that nature?
Yeah, it's tough to speak to 6 people ongoing back to back because our community, again, has a lot of trust issues. They have a lot of safety issues. But for someone to be able to accomplish that, it's huge in my eyes because a lot of times when I walk down the street, we often have to look back to make sure we're safe. And it's sad, that's going on around the city of Chicago and the south suburbs and north suburbs. But again, it's something to work on. That is a challenge. And I would like to take that challenge up myself and just see how it works out.
Yeah, because, I do it myself. If I drive past somebody, even to this day, I just speak to say, how you doing? And it's been times where I've spoken to a dude and he looked at me funny and I let down my window and I say, hey, man, I'm just issuing a challenge to you to speak to 6 people you don't know so we can bring unity to the community. And that has changed the entire energy of the interaction. And he said, and they'll be like, hey, man, thanks. I'm going to do it. And you can literally see that even the toughest or the thuggiest or the most gangster looking person, they're welcoming to that because they're sick of it too. No one wants to be in a war zone. And that's my belief. So if we start issuing that challenge, we can make headway in reducing some of the violence, reducing some of the turmoil and the chaos, and creating peace in our community. Because we're not going to do away with this. It's been crime since the beginning. As long as there's people on earth, we're going to have some form of dismay. But if we can reduce it some, that's all we need is a reduction. And once we have a reduction, we can then at that point we can proceed and move forward and put our community in a better situation. Because we won't get perfection, but we can definitely strive for it. And things like this and what you said, again, it just blew my mind with all the biases that I have. So I'm gonna work on myself too. With that being said, when you are working with these young people, athletically, what are some of the challenges they meet? Because I've noticed that even as I watch the NBA, these guys are not playing basketball. I make the determination of, in some cases, you have athletes playing basketball, and then when we came up, we had basketball players who were also athletes. How do you meet that challenge, and how do you overcome those things that when kids want to be the M1 mixtape kid or the behind the back or the slam, it's either slam dunk or three. How are you faced with those, and how do you defeat them if you are?
Yeah, that's a huge challenge. The N1s, the NBA, the social media, the parents telling you that you're great, you don't need to work, parents not allowing you to come and get in any work, all of that is a challenge. It's a challenge that a kid just only wants to play and don't want to work to get better, because only thing they see is the finished product when they cut on a TV and see them guys playing up and down. A lot of them just think that they just, that just comes natural. They just believe that, the video stone age is, this is the life, the and ones and, being able to just to street ball. And it's a difference. AAU ball is different than high school ball. NCAA ball is different than JUCO ball. NAIA basketball is different. Everything has a different spin on it. I look at a lot of guys in our community, and they had the LeBron and the Jordan arguments and air, but it's really not about the LeBron and the Jordan. It's really about what work can you put in, to speak on yourself. Did I put in that work in order for me to get the max out of it? But every day we have challenges. I hear parents, and they love their kids, and their kids love them. They'll get in the car and ride home with their parents, and the parents talking about the coaches. It's hard for them to come back and perform because they dogged the coach so bad. And then, you go home, and they'll tell you, look at that on TV. Look at him. That's what I was trying to tell you to do. And that kid is not even cut or made like that. Exactly. But that's what the parents will post them to do and tell them, hey, man, this is what you're supposed to be doing. As if, I'm not trying to get you to be superior. I want you to be an elite athlete. At Corliss, our motto is elite. Everyone's elite. Every student is elite at Corliss. And that's what we try to get you to understand. That's who we are. You're elite students. The basketball players are supposed to be elite. You're supposed to lead by example. But instead, the challenge is to watch some of the things, these athletes, not acting or conducting themselves as role models, being a little wild in the streets. And then the guys who are trying to get there are emulating this behavior because they see it. They see the rap behavior. They see the pants sagging. And they think that all that goes together when it really does not. But instead of trying to get the teaching from that, a lot of kids run from that because it's easy to be perceived a certain way if you just dress that way. I call it pretending, and acting. A lot of guys, they walk around and they pretending to be something that they're not, or they acting out something that they truly don't even understand, So, and I come across that in a situation where you have an incoming kid come in who's never played, who's never. I don't get high-profile kids. They just don't walk in my building. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of go home. You have to do this. Work on this. Work on that. My challenge is just following the rules. Playing within the guidelines of IHSA, and being able to tell your kids, hey, be good kids. I'll see you this particular time in the season. My discipline is getting kids to play other different sports. My kids play volleyball, and they do cross country. I do that because I want to keep them engaged, and it's not all about basketball because only thing average kid wants to do is play that sport that they're in. I don't want my kid just to play one sport. I want them to be well-rounded. If you want to play football, go play football. If you want to be on the swim team, be on the swim team. I don't want kids who just only see what they see on TV and think that can become you in a couple of years. No, that's not true. You got to come a little bit stronger than that. You got to put a little bit more work in. So my challenge is just getting kids to buy in, and my buy-in says you can do it if you try.
And you know what? And that was. It's funny that you keep leading me right into the next thing I was going to talk about. It's perfect. I noticed that a lot of kids are being, like when me and you came up, you could be, like you said, you were a 3-sport athlete. I played baseball, football, basketball. We did whatever the season dictated. That's what we did. Why is it that kids are being discouraged from being multi-sport athletes? What's going on with that?
Well, I just think a lot of it is just the coaches, have they been properly mentored? You know, it's real important to be out here. You coaching someone and you telling someone, you know, what to do. You running all these plays and you teaching kids bad things. There are a lot of coaches out here that carry that title, but have never had a mentor or not a good mentor. I had some great mentors. You know, my mentors taught me that, you know, it can't be about basketball. If it's about basketball, you're really going to fail the kid. So I then, you know, open my kids up to different things, and they enjoy it. You know, they enjoy it, especially for cross country. You know, they competed well in the state tournament, also in cross country. That's huge to me.
That's
awesome. You never. Yeah, you never know what a kid can do, and I don't want to hold them back. If a kid wants to play baseball, go play it. But again, it really comes from, you know, what type of coach do you have? If that coach has been mentored and he understands that you can't hold a kid back because he may be good in something else and better than he is in the sport that he's playing. So, you know, sometimes these coaches need refresher courses, you know. They need some empowerment. You know, they need an advocate. You know, often some of these coaches never go to coaches clinics. You know, referees annually, they have to get their skills. Yeah, they have to do so many coach clinics with IHSA. You know, coaches we do the small clinics, but just those detail, those sensitivity trainings, those open-minded trainings, you know, you're dealing with a lot of kids who's dealing with homosexuality. Coaches are don't have the training to be able to deal with some of those things. I've been fortunate and blessed to have that training that was offered through Chicago Public School. So I am able to communicate. I am able to help those kids in those situations. But you also have coaches out here that are not trained, they're not knowledgeable, or even point those kids in the wrong direction. And sometimes they get depressed. Sometimes they want to hurt themselves. Sometimes they're going through someone, and they have no one to go to. You know they can't divulge. They can't talk to anyone, and you need those coaches to be knowledgeable. So again, it falls back on, how well the coaches are being coaches.
Understandable. You know what? Like they talk about kids, not just our kids in general, in my opinion, as if they're emblems. Like anything that they see on TV, they're gonna do, like performance enhancing drugs, even narcotics, street level narcotics. How often are you how often is that coming into your world, or has it?
I think it comes in daily. Every day you have to remind kids that, it's in the community. You have to do your best to avoid it. They often bring up the Keezo Brown situation and his medical condition, but it's troubling that every day our kids have to go through these challenges. But he's a kid who's fighting through it, who's getting an opportunity to play again, who made a mistake. He's not that type of kid. He's not a gangbanger. He's not an addict or anything like that. But just to see him being able to get another opportunity is huge. And I remind my kids every day, everybody don't get that chance. Everybody don't get a chance to be able to say, hey, I'll play again. It's serious. It's really serious. And I've had kids, and I let them know, hey, you can't play here. Doing that stuff. If you get yourself some help or you got a problem, then we can work through it, and it'll be all right. But I'm not gonna have any kids that's going through those type of situations and not try to point them in the same direction. Our administration here at Corliss is huge. We connected very well, and we communicate with each other. Any problems we may have, we jump right on it. I've been blessed to have some great kids, and just our community is small. We have like 300 kids in our school, so it's very small. We're able to hands-on touch it and identify it very quickly because we're a small school.
Okay. Yeah, because it's just it becomes, in my opinion, it becomes white noise, and it has become white noise to me because I don't identify with it. So sometimes you think I don't identify with the other kids. I always wondered, like PEDs and things like that. How prevalent is that in a situation like in a city? Because I was assuming that you would probably